Evening, Kelly Mill family. I'm Mr. Lusk, 6th grade science teacher here. And I want to welcome you to our open house and let you get to know a little bit about our school and about how I do specifically in my classroom, and hope everything's going well so far. Now, I can't share exactly so individually what every student is doing right now individually, but I want to let you know that it is starting off great. The classes are spectacular. The kids are eager. They come to class ready to learn, and I'm excited and loving it so far. And I know I'm going to continue to love it and do a good job for the rest of this year. So we learn about 4 major units. Okay, first we learn about our energy units, and if you've been seeing some of the work we have going on now, we're dealing with a lot about the different forms of energy, potential kinetic energy, and things of that nature. Then we're going to move on into simple machines, and after the simple machines, we're going to let the students build the students' understanding in how heat transfers. Then after that, we'll move on to weather. So if you can look how right now, how the clouds and the overcast is like some kind of storms coming. We're going to learn about that next. And we're going to go into Earth's atmosphere, and we're going to investigate why we have seasons. Why does it feel this way in Puerto Rico, and then in Wyoming it has a different type of climate. We're going to learn about those things, okay? And what instruments the scientists use to measure them, and how we can conduct scientific investigations to really learn about our world. And then we are going to go into our classification of living things and understand how everything that is living, from this grass and these leaves and these trees and these animals and all these things, how they are all related. How they are related. And then we're going to learn about plants and why plants are so vital, and especially flowering plants are so vital to the way that our society and our civilization and every other living thing on earth is related to. So, and we're going to integrate technology. We're learning on the fly. We're all out here doing the best that we can and then learning as we go. So we want to share grace and mercy as we're trying to learn. So I've been doing this for a good quite time. I got some experience, I guess you could say. And we just try to make sure that all the education that I put into it's a calling, it's a passion. I just want to make sure I do my best to ensure that all the children that are under my sphere of influence get the type of education they deserve. And in my science class, I feel like it's a window to the world of how you can investigate, ask questions, and do things. Because remember, science is something that you do. You ask a question and you try to figure out and learn something new. Okay? And that's what my classroom is about. It's data driven. So I like to look at, if I go through my direct instruction and the guided practices, and I let the children have independent practice, I give my assessments, I look at the data and I let the data guide me as to what we're strong, what we're weak, what we're strong at, what may need to be we might need to revisit certain standards and certain objectives just to see how the students are engaged in learning. Again, in these times, because we have started out remote learning, we will be integrating a lot of technological functions within the classroom. But eventually, as we hopefully, and I have faith that eventually we will be back into the normal school setting. It gets to be more inquiry, it gets to do more hands-on experimentations, and make science truly a subject that children love, okay? And understanding that the problems that they face, science is a real-life solution. They ask real-life questions and find solutions to solve the problems that our kids are going to face. Because I tell the kids, like, for example, we're working on energy right now, okay? We're doing our energy unit. And I like to make the learning relevant. I like the children to be able to understand that it is a reason, that you're learning science or learning about energy. Where's your electricity come from? Well, on a small scale, you see how this little creek is running. See how the water is running? And that's mechanical energy moving. And it's what scientists and what not there is scientists, but just as far as humans have learned how to capture the energy of that moving water, build dams to create generators that spin, and they turn that mechanical energy from the water moving. So energy can't be created, it can't be destroyed, it can only be transformed. But that's a real life example of how the things that we learn in 6th grade science. So, and that's just one real life example of how 6th grade science really teaches children things, problems, how problems have been solved in real everyday life. It's real meaningful because so one day somebody's going to have to grow up and run Duke Dominion Energy. So somebody's going to have to understand how to get natural gas from the ground to or how homes, and more importantly, somebody in our children's generation is going to have to figure out what we're going to do once those non-renewable energy sources run out. Like what we're going to do when the oil is all gone, because it's non-renewable. What are we going to do when the natural gas is all gone? What are we going to do when there's no more coal to burn to generate our electricity? And also, and not but least, what are we going to do when the earth starts to get so warm that it can't support life as we know it? And another important concept we're going to learn about flowering plants and why these plants are green. And that's a real important reason on how do plants come about. How does a farmer put a seed and take a seed going from a seed to growing to a crop that can take care of us, that can sustain us, our population? So 6th grade science is extremely important. And there are a plethora of things that we're going to learn about, and then we're going to make it so engaging, and we want to make it so fun and meaningful to these children. But we have to have order and discipline. And we will have order and discipline so we can make this year great. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure we are premier, and premier starts here. Thank y'all for coming out tonight. If you have any questions, please email me. I'm always available. Thank you.